everybody, welcome to Big Balls Fantasy Football, the only show by real fantasy football fans for real fantasy football fans. I'm your host, 20-year fantasy veteran and big fan of the good old Chicago Bears, Greg Reifsteck.
And I'm your co-host, Jenilee Borek, also a huge Chicago Bears fan and a 10-year fantasy veteran. And together we are the beauty
and the beast
of fantasy football experts.
So the last time we talked to you, it was the Super Bowl. The slaughter with Seattle, sorry Denver, but that's all over. Now we are starting anew we're not into the new season yet, but we are in that great limbo area because now the NFL is a complete year-long process. We are in the free agency frenzy.
That's right, and teams have been just picking up players like crazy, dropping players like crazy. It's going to affect your fantasy for sure next year. We're here to help you out with that. We're officially in the new league year, so it's 2014. We are excited to get things going. And do you want to get right into the Bears free agency, what we've been doing?
Yeah. Let's get into that. Let's just let you know, though, that we're talking to you. Also, we're on our video channel. If you're of course, watching us on the Big Balls Fantasy Football YouTube channel. But we are also now simulcasting, as we've always been, at blogtalkradio.com/GRR. So you can listen to this on audio, sitting in your car, whatever you like.
That's right. We got you both places.
Yeah. So, let's get into the Bears. And, Jenilee, why don't you get us into our newbies, our new, beautiful, spanking new Bears players that we got from all over the league.
That's right. If you are a Bears fan, you know that the Bears defense was horrible last year. It was the worst Bears defense we have ever experienced. So our free agency focus was on new defensive players.
Yes.
So Emery said he wanted to get younger, and we have started off at least by doing that. We still have the draft, of course, left. Mm-hmm. So our first big addition was defensive end Lamar Houston. He's 26 years old, and he came over from Oakland. Our second big defensive end addition is Willie Young. He's 28, and he came over from the Lions. So what do you think about those two additions just so far, since they're going to be the main starters now that someone is gone?
I mean, the press has said a lot about both of them. I don't think they were some of the top defensive players out there at their positions. I think it's really great that the Bears decided, I'll get into the people that we had to drop to get them, but we're going to free up some salary cap, and we're not going to wait to just get youth out of the draft. We're actually going to make some moves and show our fans. We're going to give you some players that have some potential.
Yeah, and I think both Houston and Young are in their prime.
Yes.
They both have stayed healthy through their pro careers thus far, so we're not too concerned about injuries, knock on wood as always. But they're just kind of coming into that part of their career where they should be going into beast mode, like we like to say here,
yes.
Like you like to say. And so I think that part's going to be exciting. Now, another semi-big, I guess you could say, person the Bears did pick up is safety Ryan Mundy, and he's 29. Now, he started his career with the Steelers. He played 1 year with the Giants last year, started a lot of games, had a career year with the Giants last year. And even though he's not a name that springs off your board that everyone would know, I really think they're looking for him to possibly give Conte competition and maybe even replace Chris Conte.
Yeah, well, we all know Conte had one good season, and now he's on the hot seat. Let's just be nice about it.
Yep, and they also added MD Jennings, who's 25. He was a Packer, so we have to, unfortunately, embrace a cheesehead here. But I think he's just another one to add to that competition for Conte. So they need to get some guys back there. Again, probably going to add some people in the draft.
Yeah.
But, I think they're looking to up that competition for sure on defense.
Yeah, just a note there. We'll get to one of the people we had to drop. We did a little bit of an exchange program with the Packers, unfortunately.
That's right. And then just to touch base on the people the Bears did re-sign, we re-signed cornerback Tim Jennings. That happened right after the season ended. Quarterback Jay Cutler and guard Matt Slauson. All three of those happened immediately after. And my favorite re-signing, I was so happy this happened, is we re-signed Charles Peanut Tillman.
Yay!
Thank you for coming back, Tillman. I bought a jersey with your name on it, so I'm glad I get to wear it while you're still a Bear. But he was a big one, so we got both of our corners, and I think that's really going to help cement our secondary.
I think you needed to keep some prime people. I mean, you have Briggs, but you have players that are just the heart of the team. And one of the things that did go bad last season was we lose Urlacher, who might not have been as good of a player as he was, but he was the heart of the team. And you need to have that in the locker room, and that's what Peanut is. He is the spirit of that defense right now. And if we would have lost him, I mean, I think we'd have a lot of problems with gelling. And, I mean, you need a presence.
Yeah, he still has a ton left in the tank, I think. So I'm excited to get him back. And speaking of linebackers, because we haven't mentioned that a whole lot, I think they were hoping for Bostic to be a starter, possibly, this year. He did okay. You know, he's still got some ways to come, but he was thrown in the mix last year because of injuries, and he did okay. And the real interesting one is they're moving Shea McClellan to linebacker as well, which could be very interesting. So that also gives us some youth at linebacker. There might be a little bit of juggling in training camp and so on, I think.
Yeah. I mean, my main concern with the defense, and we've discussed this at the bar, is we need to be patient as fans because a lot of new blood coming in. We pretty much had to, flush some stuff out. We have to wait, have some new people come in. We're going to have some rookies come in and compete for positions. It's going to be a building process still. We're not going to see this instant, 4 games in, us Bears fans, God damn it, we're not blocking. Damn, we're still letting the run go. It's going to take time.
Yeah, and I think a big reason why they added Houston is he's supposed to be very good at stopping the run as well as, rushing to the quarterback, sacking, getting some sacks in there. So, that obviously we were terrible. We were last in the league against the run. So that has to be fixed. But I think that give them some time to gel. I think these additions are very versatile, and hopefully we will be. I'm looking for at least like a top 15 defense. Even if we're middle ground, that's doable. We were so bad last year that let's climb back up to at least middle ground.
I mean, the point is, when you put up 32 points and they score 34, that's not good.
No.
So
I don't know. 200 yards rushing, just letting them run.
That's where we can't have it happen. So
who did we drop? Let's get into who we lost. Dash dropped.
The first big one, and this broke a lot of people's hearts, but we had to do it for money, was, of course, Devin Hester, Mr. Ridiculous. Unfortunately, we owed him a ridiculous amount of money going into next season. And he only ran back 1 kick last year.
Yeah, 1 because his second one got called back.
Right.
It didn't
so
stand,
it would have still been 2. Now, this is a player that when we were paying him and set up his salary structure was running back 4 and 5 a season. So, or over a few seasons. So it was like, it was time. It hurts. News today, just today, he ended up with a 3-year deal with the Falcons. They haven't disclosed the financial terms yet, but, at least he's not in our division or anything.
Exactly. And speaking of money, cap space was a big thing for the Bears this year. We just did not have a lot of it. That's why you saw Houston was our biggest signing.
Yeah.
And then we had to grab people that we could really work with financially that we think can still produce on the field, but we didn't have to pay the big bucks because we just didn't have the cap space this year.
Yeah, I mean, you had people out there screaming, why don't we go for Sproles? Why don't we go for Laguerre? Why don't we go for all of these, players? We just have Matt Forte. It's just we don't have the cash. And, what as many people know, there's a lot of running backs out there. And right now, some of them are a dime a dozen. So we'll wait till we see what we draft, and then maybe we can get some bargain time.
And speaking of running back kick returns or punt returns, they do like running back Michael Ford. We do have him. He was a rookie last year.
And he did well.
He did pretty good. And we brought in wide receiver Dominic Hickson, who most of you know from the Giants, played with the Panthers last year. We brought him in because I know a lot of fans are saying, wide receiver, what's going on? We don't need a wide receiver. But he was brought in primarily for special teams and to compete to run back.
Run back specialist, yeah. I mean, we need somebody to replace Hester. Yep. He's irreplaceable. He's irreplaceable.
He'll always be a Bear.
He will always be a Bear. So then Melton, we lost him, and he has a potential. He has a 1 year. It's a 1 year to 4 year deal with Dallas. It's if he's still there at the end of the 2015 season, they push it to 4. So it's a structured contract. I mean, good luck to you, Melton. I mean, I think he did okay for us, but again, cap space.
Cap space, and I don't mind letting him go so much just not knowing what's going to happen after that ACL injury.
Right.
So I think he can either come back, and the Cowboys got lucky, and he's going to really help them out and, be 100%, or he can come back and not be what he would have before the injury.
4 games in, re-injure.
Yeah.
You never know about it.
So I don't mind letting a player like that go.
So then, of course, I'll skip around a bit. We'll go to Bennett, our wide receiver. He's out in limbo right now, and so is Michael Bush out in limbo, our running back / fullback / power back. I mean, Bush, he looked great when he came in, and then I remember being at the bar a few games. It's like we put him in 3rd and 1, and it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And then that unfortunately got Trestman not trusting him. And then we'd be sitting there screaming, why don't you put Bush in? And he was like, well, unfortunately we would make some asinine pass plays. But,
and he's another one. Running backs are a dime a dozen.
Yes.
It's just not the position that gets the big money anymore. And so you can get a pretty good one cheap.
Yeah, I mean, LeGarrette Blount's still out there. I think he would be a great fit on our team. There's a lot of fullback / running backs that are still out there, sitting there, that we can get after the draft for a pretty low price. Yeah. So then we come to the big ones. Of course, we lost McCown down to Tampa. 2-year contract, $10 million. Good luck. I'm going to miss him. But, he had to shop the market. When you get over 1,100 yards and you get like 13 touchdowns.
Oh, yeah, as a backup.
You need to shop that market. And he has a family. And you're late in your career and you pull that crap. I mean, this is his second lease on life. And I will get into why, from a fantasy perspective, it's not going to pan out fantasy-wise for people if you pick him up after a break.
And he's been named the starting QB. So right now, at least, it's his job to lose down there in Tampa. So can't blame him for going, man, Cutler, we need you all 16 games this season. We did re-sign quarterback Jordan Palmer, so we do have somebody else back there. But I know that we're going to be shopping around for somebody else because Cutler does not last all 16 games very often.
Not.
So I'm a little bit nervous about that one. But
around week 6 or 7, we all start getting the shakes over there at the Tin Horn.
Yeah.
We just do.
And I know that you did mention Earl Bennett, and I just want to touch base. Bears really like wide receiver Marquise Wilson.
Yes.
So he's the guy that if you're wondering, if you're not really in tune, that's supposed to take over the slot, supposed to do a lot more than Bennett did. Bennett's numbers weren't that great. He
only had 4 touchdowns last season. So, unfortunately, I think he just got caught up in the whole, Alshon Jeffrey turned Showtime on our ass. So we had the greatest receiver pair in town.
Yeah.
And
Martellus Bennett and Forte. There's not enough footballs to go around.
Exactly. And I think he just got lost in the shuffle. Yeah. And it did they asked him to take a second pay cut in 2 seasons. Yeah. That's saying a lot. Yeah. So, hey, if you can go out there and shop the market and get on some, second level team and, good luck to you, Bennett. But the big one, and I was
you saved it till last.
I was gonna wear the shirt, but I couldn't. I saw somebody burning his jersey online. Kind of shame on me.
Come on, don't do that, fans.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Mr. Julius Peppers, Pep. It was sad to see him go, Mr. Big Ears, Mr. Big Guy, but again, money. We owed him a lot of money, and this last season, he just wasn't doing what we needed him to do. And they're having all this positive spin, and unfortunately went to the enemy, Green Bay, who have been, we love it, we have him, and they're playing up the whole rivalry thing. But, I mean, they're not getting a Peppers in his prime. He was already on Carolina before us, and we got him at his potential prime. We got 2 good seasons out of him, and then it kind of didn't work out.
Yeah, I mean, he's 34 years old, so I can't completely blame the Bears for letting him go. He was $20 million against our cap, so if any of you thought that they were going to be able to work out those finances, it was not going to happen unless he was going to play for basically $0. And, you know, he still is trying to get his money while he can.
Mm-hmm.
Not too many years left in the league. Now, I do think he has quite a bit left in the tank.
Mm-hmm.
So from that standpoint, it's sad. It's like, he didn't have a great season last year. Mm-hmm. But I think another reason is because he had to play basically every down.
Right.
I mean, the Bears did not have anybody to rotate him out with, especially with our injuries we had.
Yeah.
So don't be surprised if he has a better year with the Packers this year, because they have some more people on their team that they can rotate in and out. He doesn't have to be an every down guy, and it's going to save his energy. And I think when he's out there, he's going to cause some havoc. Don't be surprised if when they play the Bears, he gets some sacks on Cutler. I'm sure he wants to kind of pay the Bears back a little bit. But I'm not angry at the Bears for letting him go. It just does really, really suck that he went to the Packers.
Oh, and one PS that just reminded me of. First of all, Mel Tucker, please change the signals, for the defense, and Trestman changes signals for offense for this season. So when somebody like a Jenilee goes over to the Lions, we don't get our ass handed to us when we play the Lions. Thank goodness, turncoated Jenilee now, we forgot to mention, is back. We got a Jenilee back for a pretty low rate. I think
he's up
like
there in age as well. He's 33. So.
Yeah, but at least we got him away from the enemy, and the 2 games he was over there, and he pretty much all submitted to the press that I knew the calls. I knew exactly what the Bears were going to call, so we just walked all over him. It was like, guys, you might want to,
And see, hopefully he's a guy with these younger, hopeful starters.
Yes.
He's a guy that we can rotate in and out. Again, he's not going to have to play every single down, save his energy, and let him do his magic when he is on the field.
Right.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
So we're happy to have you back.
Yes. So that's it with the Bears. Of course, there was a lot of movement all around the league. And after the break, we are going to get into all the we're each going to take, she's going to do 5 real men, and I'm going to do 5 beasts that we think are like the big potential good sides and bad sides of players that got picked up and dropped in free agency. And we're going to have a little bit of a, debate. We're not going to do our regular segments. We're going to kind of mix it up because it's the off season. We can have fun.
Yep. we like doing off season shows for everyone, and we're just going to try to hit those players that are the most important. There were so many people that moved around, so it's crazy.
Alrighty, after the break.